Hello everybody, Andrew Reed here from beautiful rainy Victoria, BC, and we're going to talk about what we're dealing with in the economy right now, and that is obviously continued pain, but we're going to look a little bit at how we can adapt to that for those of us that are newly invested. Some of us have invested heavily during the good times, and now we're really suffering in the bad times. Even more than that, we're seeing with the interest rate hikes, we're seeing our interest rates go up, and that's unpleasant because we're seeing if we have any kind of fixed rate loans from credit card companies or variable rate loans or new mortgages, those rate hikes hurt. I've had a variable loan, just a smaller loan that operates like a small mortgage, that's gone from 6.6% to now nearly 10%. So this is exactly what we're doing. We're paying for the government's debts here, especially in Canada, but you're going to see this in the United States. It might just take longer, but we're seeing these effects right now, and this is what we're dealing with. So ultimately, this is the time where we need to really buckle the belt. And that's unfortunate. No one likes buckling the belt. I certainly don't. But that means that where there are opportunities to save, we are going to have to take them. So if there's a chance to, say, reduce your housing expenses by taking on a roommate or moving in with a parent, living in their basement per se, then that is a really, this is the time for it. Because saving now, building up assets and cash now, so that in 5 to 10 years when we finally come out from these mistakes, a lot of that speed will depend on who we elect in office. Canadians, keep that in mind. So when we come out of it, we want to come out of it with an asset pool that was purchased at these relatively low rates. So a lot of people will say, is the market, has it hit bottom yet, or things like that? And that's not something that any of us can predict. Is it close to the bottom? Probably. But if you zoom out and look on a really big timeline, we're actually quite up overall. And so there is more room for it to fall if that's where it's going to go. But over the next year, if we steadily dollar cost average into assets like stock market, then we'll get a relatively low rate discount compared to good economic times. I mean, eventually they're going to panic because of the recession they caused. They're going to flip around. They're going to lower interest rates. They're going to inject even more money into the system. And they're going to continue this circus as long as they can. I mean, eventually, when you repeat this cycle over and over again, the cycle gets looser and looser. You get closer to a collapse. And it's not likely that we're in the very final cycle now, although obviously we've never been as close. Something to consider if there's other kind of long-term assets that you can build. Finally, so we need to buckle our belts. We need to find any kind of savings that we can, and then with the money that we're saving from there, invest into things that are going to weather this storm. So these are assets like grocery stores, things that provide things people need, hospitals, government buildings. People don't actually need those, but they will outlast us, unfortunately. They'll be the last thing standing at this rate. So invest into stable things that can survive the storm. That's what I'm personally doing. You can consider that advice for yourself. This is not really the time for high risks, because it's going to be so long for those risks to actually manifest into viable businesses, and there's so many headwinds, so many obstacles for these businesses to deal with, that the risks actually become so much higher. There's so many technologies that were being developed that had a good chance of making it. There was drone delivery services and different biotechnologies, little struggling companies, little startups that were gonna probably do well if they were fostered by economic prosperity. An environment like that, that's when we get high-tech breakthroughs. But we're crushing all that. We're crushing all innovation A few of the toughest will make it out, but we can't really predict those. It's nearly impossible to predict the next Amazon, the next Google. They are out there, and you can place your bets if you want to take that kind of risk, but just know that the chances of actually predicting the winners in this case are not easy. So the much safer bets, in my personal opinion, are those companies that have weathered such storms before. They'll continue to weather such storms. The Canadian Tires, the big retails, Walmarts, McDonald's. These are staples. People are still going to buy McDonald's even in a recession. It might even be cheaper than groceries at this point. Okay, so best of luck to you all. May the market force be with you. Tough times out there. Take care, everybody.